Israel's English radio station.
Online now.
RustyMikeRadio.com.
You're tuned in to Off the Beaten Track, bringing the land of Israel to you wherever you are through the airwaves. We have another special guest with us, Sarah Goldsmith. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Brilliant. And you're, what you have or run, I guess, an organization called BioTour. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. Explain a little bit about what BioTour is.
Okay, it really is off the beaten track. We're on Kibbutz Eliyahu,
okay,
which is just south of the city of Beit Shan. Our kibbutz is a pretty unique place. First of all, we're a religious kibbutz, an Orthodox religious kibbutz.
Wow, there is such a thing? Oh.
There is such a thing.
I never thought that.
I thought it was just Kibbutz Lavi.
No, there are 19 religious kibbutzim in Israel.
Fantastic.
So ours is one of those.
I tell you what, now that's the case. You put the bug in my head. Why do I have to be suffering in a city where I could be like out in the fields, religious horror, connecting to the land?
That's right. That's what we say.
Wow.
And Eliyahu is a pretty cool place because not only are we religious kibbutz, but we're still a traditional kibbutz. Our kibbutz is still not privatized. We still have 3 meals a day in our dining room.
Beautiful.
Very much a kibbutz.
Beautiful.
And we are a purely agricultural kibbutz as well.
Right, no textiles, chemicals, agriculture.
Not quite, but our industry on kibbutz is completely related to agriculture. Everything we do here is directly related to agriculture. That is not by mistake. That is by design. It's the ideology of the kibbutz. And even our industries are agriculturally related.
Okay.
We have...
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, we have 2 main industries here on the kibbutz. We have a spice drying plant. When I say spices, I mean things that we grow in the fields, parsley, cilantro, dill, things like that. We also have a very fascinating factory called BioBee, which is provides biological pest control solutions and bumblebees for pollination. And combine that with the fact that we are Israel's first commercial organic grower in the country, we get a lot of people who are very curious as to what we're doing here on the kibbutz, and that's where BioTour was born, was to provide a solution for all the tourists and curious folk who want to come and see what we're up to over here. What is organic farming? What is biological pest control? And we provide them with a very interesting tour about these subjects.
Sarah, am I right in saying, I heard someone mentioned to me once that there is a bumblebee problem in the world?
Not a bumblebee problem. There was a bee problem.
Oh, there's a difference? Okay.
More specifically, honeybees, actually.
Okay.
And,
what was the
but
problem?
we didn't have that problem in Israel.
What was the problem?
It's not quite known exactly. They called it colony collapse disorder. It was mostly in the States. The hives were just disappearing.
Sure.
No one's precisely sure 100% what exactly was the cause. Some say it was a virus. Some say it was just years and years of pesticide use that was just affecting the bees finally.
Let me ask you this. Organic food, or agriculture rather, is the sort of the basis of the ideology of the kibbutz, right? Is that correct?
I wouldn't put it that way, but it's something definitely that we strive to do. Not everything we do is organic. We are not an organic kibbutz.
Okay, got you.
But we, like I said, we're the first commercial organic grower in the country, and we've been doing other things as well to protect the environment. For instance, recycling, which is only just beginning to take off in Israel, we've been doing here on the kibbutz for over 15 years already. That's
amazing. All right, I've got 2 questions that come off the top of my head. The first thing, just define for us, for me and listeners out there, what exactly is organic agriculture?
Organic agriculture means no chemical inputs whatsoever. So it's not just about pesticides, it's all chemicals. So we don't use chemical fertilizers, we don't use chemical weed killers. Obviously we don't use hormones or all kinds of things that they inject today in fruits and vegetables to lengthen their shelf life. The best way to explain organic is the way the member here, Mario Levy, who is the one who actually started organic farming in Israel, he says that organic is to work with nature and not against nature.
Very
And I think that's
put.
that in a nutshell.
That's beautifully put. Okay, so we have organic agriculture, no chemicals, no pesticides. It's making me rather concerned about what I'm eating.
Don't go down that road, Shmuel.
Yeah, we won't go down that road.
Otherwise you won't eat.
Okay, so you guys were the originators of commercial organic agriculture in Israel.
Correct.
Okay, I know in my circle of friends, which are mostly Anglo-Saxons and North Americans, they are completely and utterly fixated on organic food.
Yes.
The only issue I have with organic food is how expensive it is.
Yes, we all have that problem.
Why
Correct.
is it so expensive? If we're not using the chemicals and the pesticides and and spending all the money on that, surely we're spending less money by not using them.
Not precise, because a lot of people say, especially when you ask an Israeli what's organic, the first thing that they say is it means it's not sprayed. And that's not precise, because you can use certain sprays that are organic. And organic means coming from nature.
Uh-huh.
And things that come from nature, the resources are less than synthetic chemicals
I
that
see.
you make in a factory.
I see.
And therefore, they're more expensive to produce.
Right.
That's one thing. Another thing is that organic produce is very often very labor intensive, because if we're not using, for instance, chemical weed killers, then we've got a lot of weeding that we have to do by hand. And
Right.
as everybody knows, labor costs is one of the most expensive things in agriculture. On top of that, because we're not using chemical fertilizers, because we're not using hormones and all kinds of stuff like that, not always, but sometimes your yield per acre can be less in organic than it is in conventional farming. And actually, most of the farmers in Israel who deal with organic farming are earning a little bit more than they earn for conventional, but not so much more. Not the differences you see in the supermarkets and health food stores. Usually it's, everybody along the way is taking their cut, and it's a matter of supply and demand as well.
Right.
In Israel, unfortunately, we're a little bit behind the times as far as consumer awareness is concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if the consumers were to say, listen, we're not willing to eat these pesticides and these chemicals anymore, we want only organic, the farmers wouldn't have a choice but to grow organic, and the prices would come down because there'd be more supply.
I unintentionally, it seems the way we set up the interviews on this week's show seem to complement each other quite dramatically. The previous interview we had was with a woman called Dr. Elaine Soloway of the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies.
Mm-hmm.
And what she's currently involved in is the study of which crops or agriculture would be best suited for Israel's environment in the inevitable event when fossil fuels slowly diminish, or as they diminish, the prices of them go up to the point where it just becomes too expensive to be able to use them.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess what you guys are doing, the organic agriculture, which is not using synthetic pesticides, the two things are very closely related, are they not?
I think you can make a connection, most definitely.
The crops that you're growing and the foodstuffs you're growing, can they be grown in an environment where oil runs out, water becomes very expensive, whatever.
Transport's not as a key factor.
Transport, export and all that kind of stuff. Your agriculture would sustain itself in that type of an environment?
I would certainly like to hope so. All agriculture today is expensive because water is already expensive in Israel. The water shortages, we're feeling it all the time. We're trying very hard to find ways to recycle our water, to utilize recycled water to irrigate the crops as much as possible. As far as fuel is concerned, today most of the harvesting of the larger fields are done with tractors and with fuel, just like everywhere else in the world. And obviously, what we export, we export. But on the other hand, we also grow on our kibbutz a lot of the native species to Israel.
Right,
in fact,
so that's the question.
We try and grow the seven species of the Holy Land of Israel. We grow 6 out of the 7 on Stay Eliyahu.
Amazing.
So
that's amazing.
Shmuel, when are we
all
going to visit?
indigenous. So we hope it can keep on growing it, even if we don't, export it. But we'll be able to enjoy it here in Israel.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, it makes me want to hug you. Like, well done. No, seriously. Like, all right, just quickly. What's your background, very quickly?
My background. I came on Aliyah with my parents as a child. I've been in Israel since 1978. And I've been on kibbutz for the last almost 23 years now. I came here with my husband to Stay Eliyahu, and
so
great place to be.
Basically, people can arrange with you tours to tour around the kibbutz, see the agriculture, the fields, see what you're doing. How do they get in contact with you?
Well, we have a wonderful website, which is very easy to find. You just Google BioTour.
Okay.
And you can also just Google Stay Eliyahu, and you'll find it that way as well.
Very nice.
And yes, we do tours, mostly with groups, but we do work with private individuals as well. In the summer months and school holidays, we have tours at set times that people can join. They're generally in Hebrew, but if we have enough requests, maybe we'll be able to get one together in English as well.
I was just about to say, the summer holidays, what a great activity for the kids.
Yeah.
To go out, organic agriculture, see the land of Israel, connect the whole thing together, and find out where your food comes from and how it's grown. I think that's an amazing...
Most definitely. And on top of that, we've opened also now a coffee shop as well on the kibbutz, where we serve organic coffee, and we utilize all our organic vegetables and things in the food that we serve at the coffee house. So you can have a complete experience.
It's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. How do we recognize your produce in the stores?
Well, Stay Eliyahu's produce, some of it you won't find marketed under Stay Eliyahu. A lot of our stuff, for instance, does go to export as it happens.
Right.
But we do have organic grape juice that is bottled, and it says on the bottle Stay Eliyahu biological organic grape juice. We have raisins that have our logo on it. We have dates with our logo on it. We have pomegranate juice that has our logo on it. Just got to keep your eyes open.
I first and foremost, I want to give you a bracha that you should only grow. Excuse the pun, that was not intended. But you should grow. You should be successful. That more farmers in Israel should get along. Jump on the bandwagon. That we should get more into, as you said, that the consumers should become more aware, become more concerned about what they're eating, and that traditional organic farming, the way of our forefathers, should take off in a really big way. And I also, due to our previous interview, that we should stop exporting and actually hand over the produce to Israelis, and you still get your money's worth, because that's also important.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
God bless. Bye. Remarkable.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely remarkable.
I feel like eating a pepper.
I feel like hugging a pear. Anyway, tune into our Facebook page, Off the Beaten Track Israel, to find out what exciting things we are having on next week. Oh, yes, I know. The only Judea and Samaria tour group that is free, that arranges the security that you need to actually go and see all the holy biblical archaeological places in Yehuda and Shomron.
Next week?
Next week.
Beautiful.
See you then.
Shavua Tov.
Summertime. www.rustymicradio.com.
Your summer, your station.
This is Rusty Mike Radio.